Welcome to Allies or Enemies. Today we are talking about Red Rising, the newest game from Stonemaier Games, designed by Jamey Stegmaier and Alexander Schmidt. Red Rising is a 1 to 6 player card game based on the very cool book series by Pierce Brown. We actually didn't know about the books until the announcement for this game, but now we're both huge fans and have read them all. Well, I've read them all, and Sean has read only the first 3. If you haven't read the books but plan to, know that there are some minor spoilers in the card synergies, but only up to the end of the 3rd book, and nothing more than really minor implications of possible friendships. Red Rising is kind of a card drafting game with a twist, in which players try to maximize their hands and balance end-of-game points with immediate benefits. It is heavily influenced by fantasy realms, though we've never played that, so we won't be a lot of help there, but we can tell you about how it plays.
The broad strokes of Red Rising are exceedingly simple. You want to end the game with a hand that scores a lot of points, but on the way there, you also need to use those cards for their powers. How that looks in practice is on your turn, you can do one of 2 things. Either lead, deploy a card on a location using the card ability, and then pick up a card from a different location and gain the location bonus, or scout. Place the top card of the deck on a location and gain the bonus. If you lead and you don't want to pick up a card, you can also grab the top card of the deck and then roll the dice for a random bonus. 3 of these bonuses correspond to the main goals of the game: moving your ship on the fleet track, adding a cube to the Institute, or grabbing a helium. Dice also has sides for adding or banishing a card, and finally, you can take the Sovereign token, which also lets you gain your house-specific bonus. All of this terminology will make a lot more sense as you play, but all you really need to know is the more stuff you have, the more points you will get at the end of the game. The game ends once 3 different players get to 7 on the fleet track and gain 7 Institute and 7 Helium, or when one player accomplishes 2 of those 3 goals. Although the bulk of the points you are going to get at the end of the game comes from your cards, which will have a base level of points as well as bonuses, which depend on things like which other cards they are with. Then you add up everything and find out who is the new Sovereign of the Galaxy.
For a game that is basically just a deck of 120 cards, Stonemaier Games has gone all in. The star is the cards, which are oversized and multi-coded to help folks that have trouble differentiating colors. Even if not every character looks quite how you saw them in your head, they are all pretty cool, and some of them are exactly spot on. Check out Severo. We have the Collector's Edition, which adds metal pieces, card holders, a wolf head helium holder, and some shiny foil on the gold cards, none of which is really necessary. We do love the foil, however, and though they are a bit tipsy, the holders are great for the cards you're going to keep. But the pieces could be hit and miss for folks, as they have a nice weight, but some of the metallic colors look awfully similar. So for some players, the retail version with more distinct shades might be the way to go. However, either way, we don't think you'll be disappointed.
We have mostly played it 2 players, and we had heard before we got the game that 2 might not be ideal, but we really have not had any problems at all. Yes, higher player counts might have more cycling, but we actually like the dynamic of knowing that if you play a great card, your opponent can grab it the next turn. It makes for a strategic back and forth. High player counts actually feel pretty similar to the 2-player game, except you have a little bit less planning as the game state changes more, and there is obviously more competition for the various goals, but either way, it plays fast. For the average game, it runs about 20 to 30 minutes. There's also a solo mode with a pretty easy to control automa that plays a bit different than the normal game, but it's still a fun challenge and it's actually pretty cleverly implemented.
We got this game less than a week ago and have played more than 20 times already, so it's pretty replayable. With 120 cards, you will generally only go through a third of the deck each game. Only a quarter if you play with 2, which means your combos will always be different. And the cards have such different powers and combinations that you'll have to change your strategy each time. The faction powers also change your focus, and while they are maybe not perfectly balanced, it is possible to win with all of them. For us, the biggest part of the replayability comes from the characters themselves. The game only lightly uses the theme of the books, but we still really like combining Sevro with the Howlers, or getting both Darrow and Mustang.
After racing through the books in preparation, 3 if you are a reasonable reader, 5 if you're a huge overachiever, we had sky-high expectations for this game, and it mostly met them. It's a light game that plays quickly and is really easy to keep coming back to. It could use a little bit more connection to the theme, but it's not entirely pasted on, and the balance of themed mechanics makes it a little bit more accessible for a wider audience while adding that little extra for people who have read the books. For folks that want to find flaws, there are a few. The cards don't always cycle enough, and it's possible on rare occasions to have too good of a hand off the start, but we've found that the vast majority of games play fast and fun and have plenty of variability. And for the odd games where things don't quite click, it's short enough that you're moving on to the next one in 20 minutes anyway. This one is a nice addition to our filler or just more than filler collection. It may not be pure gold, but like the book suggests, that might be for the best. And that is it. Please let us know in the comments what you think of the game, and if you've read the books, what you think of those. Also, please do like and subscribe, and hopefully we will see you all next time for another game.